Hey everybody, this is Randy Rodenhouse, the founder of the Note Authority, and today I want to give you an overview of what paperwork and processes are necessary or used when buying mortgage notes. Just like when you buy a piece of real estate and you have to have a purchase and sale agreement signed and agree upon the terms and the price and all that good stuff. It's the same thing when buying a note, and we're going to go over that today. So let's get started. Essentially, there's 4 steps to the process. Again, I'm oversimplifying this a bit, but again, just to get the idea, step 1 is you sign a mortgage note purchase agreement. Now, sometimes people call those LSAs as well, which stands for loan sale agreement. Different people have different acronyms, but essentially it's an agreement just like a purchase and sale would be for buying a property. Step 2, you wire the funds. Step 3, you receive collateral. Now what does that mean? Well, that means you receive the original note, the original mortgage or deed of trust, you receive the assignments, the longe, that type of thing. And again, we're going to go into that in detail in a second. And then in step 4, you set up servicing. It's best to set up servicing with a third-party servicing provider because for you doing it yourself, it's very difficult. You have to have certain licenses, and it's important to set it up, and it's very, very inexpensive to do so. So it's well worth not spending time on this, and we'll go into that in a second. So again, the MNPA is a mortgage note purchase agreement, and again, sometimes it's also called the loan sale agreement or an LSA. Those are kind of the two. Some people call it the mortgage note purchase agreement. Some people call it the loan sale agreement. Essentially, it's the same thing. So you use this MNPA when you're buying notes. And when you're buying a piece of real estate, as everyone knows, that you buy it with a purchase and sale agreement. Now, they're very similar in nature that they kind of spell out the terms, they spell out the price, they spell out the timing, they spell out the conditions, and all that good stuff. So we're going to go over a little bit of what's contained in a MNPA. So the MNPA contains the following. Now again, this isn't all inclusive. This is just again a 30,000 foot view of what it contains. But essentially, it talks about the note price, the funding date, how the collateral documents are transferred and when. We just talked about the note, the mortgage, the assignments, all that good stuff. It also talks about servicing requirements and information. It also talks about the seller's representations and warrants. Are they saying it's a first? Are they going to represent that this is a first and warrant that it's a first? Buyer also has reps and warrants. And then it talks about governing laws, if you have a dispute or something. And also talks about the exhibit. There's an exhibit in there showing asset location, the unpaid principal balance, that's what UPB stands for, sales price, lien position, and so on. So again, it's pretty straightforward. Once you filled out 1 or 2, it takes no time at all to do that. The next step is very simple, is to wire the funds. Now, the buyer must wire funds typically to the seller within 24 to 72 hours. Again, depends on the person selling the note. Some people require you to send the funds within 24 hours. Usually I'll see it up to 72 hours. And then also sometimes people will give a stipulation. If you put 10% down, for example, you could have additional 5 days to get the rest of the funding. But you would lose that 10% down if you did not fund within those 5 days and so on. So there's different ways to do it, but this is just a general idea of what typically happens. All right, step 3, receiving the collateral. What should the collateral package contain? What stuff should be in there? Now, this is the stuff you definitely need to have. There's going to be other information in there as well, such as things like old title policies. There's going to be some old goodies in there, but essentially you need the original note, you need the original deed of trust or mortgage, which deed of trust and mortgage, as we talked about before, are the same thing. They're the security for the note. The original chain of assignment or assignments. Sometimes you won't have any chain of assignments. If the seller originated the note, then there is no chain of assignments. There's just an assignment from the seller to you. The next one is original executed notarized assignment from the seller to buyer per this transaction. So for example, what that means is when the seller sells it to you, he assigns it or she assigns it to you, and that assignment definitely needs to be notarized. Finally, you need to get the original allonge or allonges or note endorsement. Now, you can endorse the notes, or if there's multiple chain of assignments, then you're going to have multiple allonges as well. So, essentially, allonge basically states that it's kind of equivalent to the assignment in terms of the mortgage. You're assigning the note to someone, that's an allonge or note endorsement. You're basically endorsing it over from person A to person B and stating that now it's yours. So let's talk about servicing. There's really two types of servicing. Again, it's a 30,000 foot view: standard loan servicing or specialty loan servicing. And in the standard loan servicing are, for performing notes that you're getting paid on every month. Usually the cost is anywhere from $10, $15 up to $25. I think we pay around $15 a month. And if you escrow, so if you have an impound account, the cost is going to go up about $15, so anywhere from $30 to $40 a month. So again, it's very inexpensive. If you compare that when you buy a rental property and you got to pay the guy, 7 to 10% to manage the property, this is a small price to pay. Then if you have a note that goes non-performing, or if you buy a non-performing note, you want to typically use a specialty loan servicing, and that costs anywhere from $35 to $100. I've seen it even higher than that. And then there's additional fees. If they do a workout or they do a loan mod, it has costs, or a deed in lieu, there's costs, short sale, foreclosure. All those are additional costs, which I'm not going to get into here because we're talking mainly about performing notes. Another thing, just to note at the bottom, you need to send out what's called a RESPA letter. Now, these are required by the government, and RESPA stands for Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act. Essentially, it's a letter stating, the servicer is being changed, and again, your servicer can help you out with this. So what are some of the benefits of servicing? And I think it's important to note this because I wouldn't want anybody to take this on themselves. In my opinion, that would be not a good use of your time. Benefits of servicing are internet access to review your accounts. So you can see all your accounts online. You can see when they paid. You can see pretty much everything at a click of a button. You can apply payments, apply late payments. They basically take care of all this for you. If they're late, they send them out a notice and that type of thing. You can compute interest and principal. You can prepare year-end statements. You can have online payments or pay by phone. A lot of people call in and pay by phone. I'm talking about the borrowers now, the people that are living in the house and paying on the note. You also can get payment processing, where they send you via ACH your payments once you get them received from your borrower. And they do escrow management, tax reporting, and so on. The last one I put in there twice by mistake, so sorry about that. Computing and interest and principal. So essentially, there's a lot of benefits of servicing, and I think it's definitely well worth the very small cost of $15, $20, $25 a month. So that's it for this video. Upcoming videos are, we're going to talk a little bit about how to evaluate notes and potential returns. So that'll probably be the next one out of the 4 you see there. Now, just wanted to note for people that are interested in buying notes or learning more about it, you can go to the following site, the noteauthority.com/notes for sale. Again, that's noteauthority.com, notes for sale. The notes up there are mainly first liens, and they're all secured, of course. The internal rate of return is 11 to 15%. There is one second note up there. I think it's at 16% return. But this will give you some idea what's available, give you some idea of what kind of return you can expect. It's a fantastic return. You can buy them in your IRA with a self-directed IRA. And if you have any questions on that, you're more than welcome to call me. I recently wrote a book about this, about investing in your IRA in real estate, tax liens, private lending, notes. You can do gold. You can do almost anything. The book is called Stock Market Crash Diet. You can go to Barnes & Noble and buy it there. But at any rate, I just wanted to give you the heads up that if you do have money in an IRA that's not making high returns like you see here, then you might want to take a look at this, because this is pretty much what I do, and I'm getting great returns. And if you're getting returns like these over the years, you're going to be well off in the future. So I'm going to sign off now, and if you have any questions, there's my contact information, and we'll see you on the next video.